Now, with hearts open and mics muted, let's begin. It's my pleasure to invite Dr. Joyee to open this session with her welcome remarks. Dr. Joyee is an associate professor of gender and development studies at the Asian Institute of Technology and associate editor of Gender, Technology, and Development. She's a communication and gender specialist whose research explores how media, culture, and technology drive social change around gender norms, human rights, and well-being. She has extensive experience across South and Southeast Asia, focusing on gender inclusion and use of technology and communication to address social biases, health equity, and climate action. Her work spans nearly 2 decades of research and capacity building projects funded by organizations such as IDRC, UNDP, ITU, and Erasmus, and widely published in leading journals across communication, health, and gender studies. So to open this session, I'll now hand over to Dr. Joyee.
Thank you, Vinita. So good evening. It is my pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of the Gender and Development Studies Program and the Global Water and Sanitation Center at AIT and our partner International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies to today's webinar, Protection from Sexual Exploitation, Abuse and Harassment in Toilets, Dignity and Safety for All, which is organized in commemoration of World Toilet Day 2025. So thank you to all of you for taking the time to be here for this important conversation. Our webinar tonight highlights the profound importance of safe, inclusive, and dignified sanitation when we're talking about sanitation in a changing world, which is the theme for the World Toilet Day this year. Across the globe, billions of people still lack access to safe sanitation, and we know that these gaps are often felt most deeply by women and girls, older persons, people with disabilities, and people with diverse sexuality and gender identities. Here in Asia, the challenge is both urgent and deeply complex. Despite progress, millions across the region still struggle with limited or unsafe sanitation options, especially, of course, in rural areas and disaster-prone areas. Climate pressures, rapid urbanization, and aging infrastructure have only added to these vulnerabilities. The risks of harassment, exploitation, and violence increases when toilets are poorly lit, poorly designed, or simply too far away to be safely accessed. Conversely, the complexity of gender and cultural norms highlight how even best intentions and technical infrastructure might actually enhance gender disparities and regressive norms. So I wanted to share a story from research that we did some years back, which was evaluating the success of Government of India's policy and drive on sanitation, which was called Swachh Bharat Mission, which among other things was also a push towards building of toilets in rural homes and overcoming customary open defecation practices. So especially in the rural areas in some communities, what we found where success was evidenced, it came with a catch. The message about safety combined with entrenched gender norms had made it so that, especially when we were doing the qualitative interviews and focus groups, many people were voicing that toilets were something that were needed only for women because they were vulnerable. And this way, they would not have to leave home, right? So having toilets built at homes was a safety measure, which meant women didn't have to leave home. But real men, of course, went to the field. So the message about safety became very entrenched with gender norms. And it was precisely in those communities where women already had low mobility and restrictions that the messaging had strong appeal, enforcing further restrictions on women's mobilities. So the lesson here is that true transformative and inclusive change requires shifts both in our design and technical infrastructure, but also relatedly in our social norms and structures, which some of our speakers are going to speak to today as well. So safe toilets, therefore, are not just a technical installation. They are a reflection of our deeply social and political infrastructure. They can reduce risk, enhance community trust and well-being, and create healthy environments where all users, especially those most at risk, of course, can feel safe and respected. We are fortunate to have with us two knowledgeable speakers from IFRC and AIT who will bring both their experiential and research insights into this work and open up the space for learning, reflection, and action for all of us. Their work illustrates how sanitation systems can be intentionally designed not only to function better, but to affirm dignity and reduce gender-based vulnerabilities. This program also aligns strongly, this program and this message strongly aligns with the ongoing 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, reminding us that safe sanitation is part of a broader struggle for gender equality and human security. Thank you all for once again for joining us, and thanks to the organizers and partners for creating this platform for us to be able to hear from our wonderful speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joyee, for setting the tone so beautifully and for reminding us that conversations like this begin not with systems, but with social norms and structures.